Kyle Delaney here, bringing you the latest edition of my video blog. And in this installment, I'd like to do my UFC 141 picks and predictions. So it's been a while since I've actually done a vlog on YouTube. All my videos mostly been for the Cage Side Couch for Couch Fighter. If you don't subscribe, if you're not subscribed to them, go right ahead. It's Couch Fighter MMA on YouTube. If you want the link, I'll send it to you. But no pressure. If you'd like, that's where most of my videos are going. But this one, I'll add this one to my YouTube account, and just want to get a prediction video in. Now, UFC 141 takes place on December 30th, next Friday, and this card is a very, very exciting card. I mean, from top to bottom, bottom to top, doesn't matter. You got great prelims. You got an exciting main card with a little bit of everything from wrestling to striking to just all-out wars. So UFC 141 is going to give us all the bang for its buck. It's going to be a great card. I can't wait. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do the main card in this one. I'm going to just do a quick breakdown of the fighters, who I think is going to win and how. Then I'll culminate with the main event, Overeem versus Lesnar. So I'm just going to start out. The first fight on this card is going to be Nam Phan versus Jimmy Hetes. And this fight's a tough one, really. Nam Phan, I'd give the stand-up advantage to. He's showed great boxing, especially in his last fight with Leonard Garcia. It was an all-out war. Hats off to them. It was a great fight. And listen, Nam Phan's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but Jimmy Hetes has won 9 of his fights by submission. He's he's a feared Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, and I know Nam Phan's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I'm going to go with Jimmy Hetes on this one. When it gets to the ground, his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will shine, and this is not bashing fans' black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I'm going to give the advantage to Hetes on the ground in this one. So I'm going to take Hetes by submission. I'm not going to put a round in this one, but I'll take Hetes by submission. Nam Phan will rebound just fine. Maybe one day down the road we'll see a fight between him and Cerrone. So I'll take Hetes by submission in the first fight on the main card. The next fight on the main card is going to be Mashenko versus Gustafsson. This is going to be a great fight. This one's kind of similar to Diaz-Cerrone. It's going to be an all-out war. These two guys are strikers. They get more than capable of submitting each other. But this one's going to play out standing up. You've got two feared strikers with great power. And listen, Gustafsson's been a high riser. He's been one of those rare breeds, a very talented young fighter, great kickboxer, great striking. Same with Mashenko, though. The janitor. So who I have in this one, it's tough, is that they're both good fighters. They're both good grapplers. I wouldn't put them as elite grapplers. But I'm going to take, there's an X factor in every fight. And the X factor in this fight will be Gustafsson's better chin in this fight. So I'm going to take Gustafsson in the form of TKO in this fight. He has the better chin than Mashenko. He has not been knocked out. He's only been submitted, and that was by Phil Davis. So I'm going to take Gustafsson by TKO due to better chin and pretty even striking. I'll give Gustafsson the slight advantage. So Gustafsson by TKO. In the next fight, we have Hendricks versus John Fitch. Hendricks and Fitch are both great wrestlers. And Fitch is coming from a long layover. There's going to be ring rust involved in this fight. Last time he fought was BJ Penn. It was a pretty good fight. It was a draw. And listen, you have two great wrestlers. This one's going to play out on the ground. I mean, Fitch trains at AKA, but his striking has still not gotten to that elite level. Not even elite. It's good, but it's serviceable is the best way to put it. And Hendricks is a good striker, but they're both wrestlers. And when it comes down to a wrestling match, I'm not one to look back at past fights and be like, oh, well, that's the deciding factor there. Hendricks fought Story. He lost the Story. Okay, now that's against a good wrestler. But here's the thing. If you're a collegiate wrestler or anything like that, John Fitch is one of the best wrestlers in MMA. He really is, and this one is going to get to the ground. John Fitch wastes no time with people. He likes to bring you down to his comfort zone, control you, break your will, and beat you down. So in this one, even though Hendricks is a good wrestler, I'm going to take Fitch in this one because, there's very few people who can wrestle like John Fitch. He's one of the best in MMA. So I'll take John Fitch by decision, this one coming back from a long layover and hopefully working his way towards a title shot, being one of the top contenders in his respected division. So I'll take Fitch by decision in this fight. The next fight, which is going to be one of the most exciting fights, this one could go either way, is Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Nate Diaz. This fight's a war, flat out. These guys are stand-up guys. They're submission guys. There's a little bit of everything in this fight. It's going to be an all-out war. Now, there's already trash talk leading up to this fight. There was was it the open workouts? You know, Cerrone went up to Diaz. Diaz smacked his hand away and cursed him out. Pretty much lit a fire under Cerrone. Cerrone's irritated, and we know what to expect from Nate. You know, even the Diaz brothers, just their persona. So that's just how they do things. So going into this fight, most definitely, you know, you have Cerrone, who's a kickboxer, Muay Thai, and it gets better every fight. He's really a deadly fighter. I mean, what he did to Dennis Siver, even though he beat him by submission, he totally beat him on his feet with his kicks against an elite kickboxer and stand-up fighter. That was a great fight. Really impressive by Cerrone, showing us that he really deserves to be in the upper echelon of fighters in his division. And what you have with Nate Diaz is an exceptional boxer. He's been training with Andre Ward. Him and his brother continue to get better through this training. And you have sound boxing. And Nate, you know what Nate really showed us in that Gomi fight? This boxing's improved leaps and bounds. So what you have here is good kickboxing, Muay Thai versus a sound boxer. But where this one's going to play out is going to be on the ground. And Cerrone is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, very strong guy, good frame. And you have Diaz, who's a very, very capable Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Cesar Gracie. You'd figure with the amount of time he's been training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he'd have his black belt by now. But that's how much Cesar Gracie doesn't really give out black belts just to everybody. It just shows that Nate Diaz is really still working his way up there, but he's more than capable of submitting people. That's his bread and butter. I'd say, you know, even though his boxing is good, Nate Diaz is one of the better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters in MMA. He's a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. So where I think this one's going to pan out, I know Cerrone does his BJJ as well, but in this one, I'm going to take the underdog in this one. I know, and Diaz and Cerrone both have good chins, but you know, and also I want to say is that Bendo Henderson caught Cerrone in a guillotine, you know, but that's not really Nate Diaz's bread and butter move. He fights very well off his back. So I see this one. I see Cerrone somehow getting this one to the ground, and I see Nate Diaz locking in a submission and winning this one by submission. The underdog pick, upsetting Cerrone. I must say it's an upset because Cerrone comes in with a lot of hype into this fight. You know, he's been nothing but impressive since coming into the UFC. So I'll take Nate Diaz by submission with the underdog pick in this one, due to his chin and great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's going to get him on his back. He's going to submit him off his back. So I'll take Diaz by submission. In the main event, we have Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar. Now, before I even get into this, there's a lot of drama going into this fight outside of the octagon between Lesnar, who's had a long layover. He hasn't fought since Velasquez. You know, he did tough, and then he couldn't fight again because of diverticulitis. There is ring rust involved in that. And, you know, then you have Overeem, who's got a boatload of things he's been dealing with between his mother's health, between his break from Golden Glory, between the drug test that he's had to take. There's a lot going on outside of this fight leading up to it. And, you know, fighting, like I always say, is just as much mental as it is physical. You have to be in the right mindset. I mean, look what happened to Forrest Griffin at UFC Rio. His mindset wasn't right. You know, I know he had a lot going on in his life, and, you know, I'm not saying that's based on his talent, but, you know, he wasn't 100% focused, and it's not bashing Forrest, but, you know, you gotta be focused, and things happen. I know he's fighting Shogun, good fighter, but that's what happens. So it'll be interesting to see where their mindset is going into this fight. Regardless, I still think Overeem's going to show up ready for this fight. You know, it's his UFC debut. He's got a lot on the line. You know, 3 world titles in different promotions between Dream, Strikeforce, and K1. So he's got a lot on the line. And, you know, Lesnar's got a lot on the line, too. This really shows us where he stands in the heavyweight division. I know he's been a champion, but, you know, the heavyweight division in the UFC is now deeper than ever. So this is a good test. You have an elite striker who's a very capable ground fighter, and you have a wrestler who's still evolving. I think that's a generous statement with Lesnar's stand-up as a stand-up fighter, but Lesnar's a wrestler. He's going to try and break you down. So how I see this one panning out, I see Lesnar coming out. He's going to try, if he's going to do this anyway, he's going to try and get in the clinch, get some up against the cage and take down Overeem. That's not going to be an easy task, though. I give Lesnar's a big guy. He's got a lot of size. Great technique for wrestling. But let's not forget that Overeem is a more than capable grappler. He's won more fights by submission, or a majority of his fights by submission. And he's not going to give Brock the bag. Everybody thinks, oh, Brock's going to get him down. It's going to be that easy. It's not that easy. So Overeem's not going to, it's not going to be easy to get Overeem down to the mat or down to the deck. So what I see this one ending early. I think Lesnar cannot take a hit. And this is a very generous statement of saying that. He does not have good stand-up defense. He does not move his head. His hands are, I mean, he gets hit once and he does not take a hit well. Okay, and that's not saying, I mean, nobody likes to get hit in MMA, but, you know, people keep their hands up and they keep fighting through. Lesnar's fight against Velasquez, you know, if he thinks Velasquez was a good stand-up fighter, you're in for more than you bargained for with Alistair Overeem. He's a world-class striker. He's not Cain Velasquez. He's a better striker than Cain Velasquez. So I see this one coming out, and my call on this one, if Overeem lets his hands go, He's going to TKO Brock Lesnar in the first round. That's my pick. Okay, we're going to be specific with rounds here. And, I'll take it too. That's my Alistair Overeem shirt. Bought it a couple days ago. I'll take Alistair Overeem, first round TKO, winning the main event against Brock Lesnar in UFC 41, going on to fight Junior Dos Santos in an epic stand-up battle. Cannot wait to see that one. So those are my picks for UFC 141. I'm going to take Hetes by submission. I'm going to take Gustafsson by TKO. I'm going to take Fitch by decision. I'm going to take Diaz by submission. I'm going to take Overeem by first-round TKO. And those are my picks for UFC 141. And wherever you're watching on December 30th, I hope you enjoy. Wish everybody a happy holidays. And this is Kyle Delaney signing off. I'm out of here.